was night, and the storm seemed to tear the sky apart. Thunder and lightning slashed through the darkness like glowing claws. Tom, a 27-year-old loner, stood in the attic of his new house, opening a dusty box. Dust rose like fog, revealing an old book with a black leather cover and strange symbols carved into it. When Tom opened the first page, the candle beside him went out with a sound like a moan, and a cold, damp breeze brushed his face. From the darkness, a whispering voice rose.
"Tom, I'm waiting for you."
His heart was in his throat, but curiosity hooked him like a fish. He didn't know that this book, The Chronicle of Shadows, wasn't just a book. It was a gateway to hell, ready to devour his mind and body. Tom, a single graphic designer trying to start fresh after a messy breakup, had moved to an old house in the suburbs of a small, quiet town. The two-story house had a slanted roof and an attic that seemed untouched for years. The smell of dampness and rotting wood filled the air, and every step Tom took on the wooden floor let out a loud creak, as if the house was groaning. While unpacking, he decided to explore the attic. The wooden stairs trembled under his feet, and dust swirled around him like thick fog. In a dark corner, he found a wooden box with a rusty lock that opened easily. Inside was the Chronicle of Shadows. Its cover was cold, as if made of ice, and the strange symbols on it seemed to pulse like living veins under his fingers. Tom took the book to his bedroom, where a single dim lamp provided light. When he opened it, the yellowed, brittle pages were filled with strange handwriting. Words that were readable one moment and blurred the next. He felt someone watching him from behind, but when he turned, only his shadow was on the wall. That night, he dreamed of invisible hands choking him. He woke up with red marks on his neck, but dismissed it as imagination. The middle-aged neighbor from next door knocked and said, "Tom, your house is weird. I heard footsteps from the attic last night." Tom laughed and said, "Don't be nosy, Emma. It's just me here." Jack, his old friend, called from another city. "Hey, Tom, how's the new house?" Tom chuckled. A bit creepy, but cool. But deep down, he felt something strange, as if the house was alive. Tom couldn't let go of the cursed book. He sprawled on the couch and started reading, though many words felt like a foreign language, a mix of Arabic, Latin, and something not of this world. The book spoke of jinn, invisible beings from different tribes, like the Shadow Tribe that feeds on human minds, or the Fire Eaters that burn you from within. It said jinn could control your emotions, create terrifying hallucinations to drive you mad, or even alter reality, making objects come alive, or twisting time around you. One detailed chapter was about summoning a jinn, promising that if the ritual was done right, you could enslave the jinn and use its power for anything: wealth, power, even revenge. Tom laughed to himself. This is just a bunch of old nonsense, but it's cool. But curiosity crawled in his mind like a worm. He decided to try a simple spell, drawing a chalk circle on the floor and whispering words from the book. Suddenly, a cold wind blew, the windows rattled, and a shadow stretched in the corner, as if a tall, thin creature was staring at him from the darkness. Tom jumped back, his heart pounding out of his chest. "Damn, what was that?" he said, but then thought it was just the wind. That night, he heard nails scratching the walls, as if something inside was trying to claw its way out. In front of the mirror, for a moment, his eyes turned red, like they were filled with blood. He was scared, but oddly thrilled, as if he was getting closer to a great secret. Emma, the nosy neighbor, knocked the next morning. "Tom, I heard whispering from your house last night, like multiple people. You alone?" Tom snapped. "Get lost, Emma. You're imagining things." But when Emma left, the book opened itself to the summoning page, as if begging to be read. Tom sat and read more, about how jinn could eat your memories and replace them with nightmares, or control your body like a puppet. One part said the Shadow Tribe loved playing with minds, making you think you're insane. Tom felt his mind grow heavy, as if something was stirring inside. That night, he dreamed he was trapped in a dark room with walls closing in, and a voice said, "You are mine." He woke up in a cold sweat, his hand on the book, as if it had pressed itself there. He went for a walk, but everywhere he felt followed. He saw a shadow in the corner of his eye, but when he turned, nothing was there. He called Jack. "Hey, this house is driving me crazy. It feels alive." Jack laughed. "You're watching too many horror movies, man. Go eat something." But Tom couldn't let it go. He opened the book again, and this time the words were clearer, as if speaking to him. He tried another spell, this time with a candle. The flame turned blue, cold and eerie, and the shadows on the wall began to dance, as if laughing. Tom felt something in the room, but he couldn't see it. That night, he heard whispers, as if jinn were talking about him. He couldn't sleep, and he woke up with a splitting headache. Tom couldn't put the book down. Each page he turned felt like opening a door to another world. That night, sitting in his room with a blue candle glowing, he felt a massive shadow move behind him. He turned, but there was nothing, just the heavy darkness of the room. The book described a jinn tribe called the Shadow Guardians, beings that could touch your mind without being seen, amplifying memories and fears. Tom put his hand on his chest. His heartbeat was racing. He felt something, an invisible but real presence prowling around him. He decided to try another spell, this time to protect himself. He drew a circle on the floor, placed candles around it, and whispered the book's words. A fierce wind blew, The candles flickered, and their flames glowed green. The shadows on the wall began to twist and form strange shapes. Tom stepped back, his ears ringing. A voice came from within the book.
You can't control me.
He felt something touch his hand. He turned and saw a translucent, tall figure in front of the bedroom mirror, its bloodshot eyes staring at him. Tom screamed, but the sound choked in his throat. The shadow stepped out of the mirror, appearing on the floor for a moment without a physical form, as if his mind was merging with reality. Tom forced himself back, but a translucent hand reached from the shadow and touched his shoulder. The book opened again to the summoning page, and the words began to glow. Tom felt his mind splitting, but his curiosity was stronger than his fear. He told himself, "I can't back down. I need to know what this is." The next night, he dreamed he was trapped in a dark forest, with shadows attacking from all sides. Laughter and whispers that seemed to come from his own mind drove him mad. When he woke, his hands were covered in deep, strange scratches, but nothing in his room could have caused them. Tom finally decided to perform the full ritual where the nightmares began, in the attic. He lit candles, but their flames were blue and cold, as if from another world. He whispered the book's words with a trembling voice, and the air grew heavy, as if oxygen was running out. The mirror cracked, and a deep, inhuman voice said,
Tom, I am here. Now you are mine.
Tom expected the djinn to appear like in the movies, but he saw nothing, just felt something slither into his mind, like a cold snake crawling through his veins. He laughed and said, "Damn, I did it! Now the djinn is under my control." But that night, the nightmares began. A dark forest, trees like bony hands trying to grab him, and a creature with red eyes whispering,
Fool, you thought you could bind me? Now I'll take you.
Tom woke up screaming, sweat pouring from him. In the morning, he looked in the mirror and saw his face turn gray for a moment, his eyes black like wells. He said, "Damn, what is this?" Objects in the house moved on their own. Glasses fell, doors opened and closed, and whispers came from all directions. "Read more. No more." The nightmares grew worse. The djinn controlled his body, his hands picking up knives. In the morning, fresh wounds appeared, and Tom realized something real was happening. The djinn was slowly taking control of Tom, like a virus consuming everything. Tom relived past nightmares, personal failures, fears, and painful memories. His ex-fiancée appeared with the djinn's face, whispering, "You're worthless, Tom. You'll always be alone, and I can make it worse." Tom talked to himself, sometimes in a voice that wasn't his. "Let me take over. I'll give you power." Objects flew without reason. Windows shattered and blood dripped from his hands. Jack said over a video call, "Tom, your eyes. It's like your soul's dead. I'm coming." Tom said, "Don't come. It's dangerous." But the djinn in his mind said, "Let him come. I'll devour him." In a sleepwalking state, Tom went to the attic and drew bloody symbols on the walls. His hands were red, and the smell of blood filled the air. He felt his body grow heavy, as if the jinn had made a home inside him. One night, he felt invisible hands touching his body, and the jinn's laughter echoed in his ears. "You're mine. Your body, your mind, everything." The jinn was now playing with reality, shaping the world like dough. Tom hallucinated. Emma was in the street, but her face melted, turning into a faceless creature, screaming, "Help me, Tom!" Objects came alive. Chairs moved, walls breathed, and inhuman laughter came from every corner. Tom's body sometimes felt weightless, sometimes heavy as stone. Emma and Mr. Wilson came to help, but the jinn attacked. Windows shattered, and Wilson saw a shadow throwing books, whispering, "Stay away." Tom saw himself in the mirror, his body tearing apart from within, his insides spilling out as the jinn laughed. He screamed and smashed the mirror, the glass cutting his hands, blood splattering the wall. An anonymous letter slipped under the door. "You woke it, now pay." Tom realized the jinn was in his mind and said, "It's me, you fool." That night, he dreamed he was in a room full of mirrors, each showing the jinn getting closer. In the city, he saw people as jinn, with sharp teeth and bloodshot eyes. Jack finally arrived. Tom was gaunt, with sunken, terrified eyes. He teamed up with Emma and Mr. Wilson. Wilson said, "This book is cursed. The jinn is from the Shadow Tribe, feeding on people for centuries. The banishing ritual needs holy salt, broken mirrors, and ancient words." Emma said, "I know a priest, Father Henry." Father Henry, an old man with sharp eyes, said, "I've seen these things. Jinn eat souls, but they can be bound." But the jinn resisted. Tom suddenly grabbed a knife and lunged at Jack, only grazing him. Jack said, "Tom, be yourself." The group searched for the book, but the jinn had hidden it. In the attic, shadows came alive, and objects flew. Tom screamed, "It's eating me from the inside!" Jack said, "Hold on, buddy. We'll find it." The book was found, cold and trembling. That night, the jinn attacked. A cold wind blew, and Tom convulsed. Father Henry chanted holy words, but the jinn laughed. "You're too late, fools!" Salt was poured around Tom. Mirrors were smashed, and a hidden room full of living shadows was discovered. Emma screamed, "This is hell!" Jack said, "We have to end this." It was a dark, stormy night. Tom was still partially under the jinn's control, but his will remained. Father Henry opened the cursed book and said, "This banishing ritual is the only way to save him. We must call the jinn directly and bind it by its name." They gathered in the attic. Candles were lit, salt was poured around Tom, and broken mirrors were placed on the floor. Tom whispered with a trembling voice, "Jinn, know me and come out." A deep, dark shadow emerged from the walls, its voice like 1,000 screams combined. You thought you could bind me? Fool! Father Henry ordered. Everyone stay back. Only Tom and I stay close. The jinn shook Tom's body, his hands twisting like snakes. Tom screamed, "No, I'm not yours!" Father Henry chanted ancient words, and the salt on the ground began to glow. The jinn screeched and writhed in the air, its form glowing blue and white. And after a moment, a loud explosion brought silence. Tom collapsed, breathing deeply, realizing the jinn's control was gone. But something had changed. The room wasn't the same. Glass was broken, salt was scattered, and shadows moved faintly. The next day, Tom was alone in the house. He looked in the mirror and saw his face, but in the corner of his eye, a small shadow appeared for a moment and vanished. Jack called, "Tom, you okay?" Tom said, "I think so, but I still feel something with me." Father Henry said, "These jinn never fully disappear. If you survive and don't repeat the ritual, the shadows will return." Tom realized the nightmares weren't over. Objects still moved, faint voices were heard at night, and sometimes he dreamed he'd become the jinn. Months passed, and Tom tried to live a normal life, but the shadows lingered. Every night when the lights went out, faint breathing and whispers came. Tom learned to control the jinn with small symbols and rituals, but he could never fully erase the fear from his mind. One night, alone in his room, the broken mirror in the corner glowed faintly, and a shadow slowly crossed it, as if staring at him. Tom smiled and said, "Well, an old friend is back." Suddenly, a faint but clear voice came from the burned book in the attic. "I'm still waiting. Who's the next victim?" Tom froze, his heart racing. He realized that even if the jinn was gone, the shadows, whispers, and darkness were still waiting. If you liked the story, make sure to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss the next parts. What did you think of this story? Share your experiences or fears in the comments. If you have your own scary story, send it to us so we can use it in future videos and create a real terrifying experience together.